and gentlemen of HHN Airsoft, I am your host, AirsoftAL. And you decided, so here it is, we're talking about camouflage tactics to use in woodland and semi-urban environments. Let's get into it. The first thing we have to talk about, obviously, is know your environments. How dense of woods is it? How heavy woodland is it? Is there much semi-urban? What kind of camouflage do you want to go with? What patterns should you go with? Everything like that. And when it comes to woodland, there is tons, and I mean tons, of patterns. There's multicam, there's digital, there's basic pattern, there's the good old-fashioned OD green, the vintage OD green. There's so many camouflages to go with, but the camouflage I'm going to be using today for this is, of course, one that I have had for a very, very long time, as well as the equipment I'll be using, which I've had for a very, very long, which I've had for a good amount of time. That is this. Yep, this is basically what I rock. In the most literal sense, I rock basic BDU Woodlands. I rock an Alice harness because it's green and it goes with it. You're probably wondering about this, and you can definitely see up under there the sweater. I'll get to that in a second. It's actually colder right now in Tennessee, and with that, you have to add a little extra layers under you to actually do that. Now, I do wear some face protection under here, mostly a black face warmer of sorts to kind of keep the bees from going into my mouth. But since we're not technically in combat, we'll definitely do that. The weapons I usually go with is the Thompson M1A1 because simple black on brown is ironically enough more concealing than you might actually think. It's actually really good, and the gun itself is actually really good also. It's still a little bit wobbly. I'm going to have to tighten it down a bit when I actually get the chance to. But the harness itself is actually set up for Thompson magazines. I have the Thompson, I got this bag here for the long Thompson mags. I usually have a little thing right here for the drum mag. But either way. And when it comes to hand protection and gloves in general, you're going to want to be ready for that because, again, warm weather. So what I do is something that you can actually do at home, is I will actually take these type of gloves right here. I will actually put them on because, again, they're still camouflage technically. And then I will put on these gloves here to actually help keep myself just a little bit warmer. And, of course, it helps keep the gloves a little bit more tight, I guess you could say, give or take, on the tightness of them. But most of the time I'll just run smaller gloves up under here, but that's just how I do things. Now, the black gloves, black hard knuckles here actually do keep me somewhat camouflaged. But like I said, I'll go with something like this. These small gloves here. These small gloves are actually really good. They're very light, very great for what you need to do. And that's what I'll probably be using in today's demonstration when we actually get outside. So yeah, it's really interesting. But besides the Alice harness here, there is, of course, another setup you can actually run. That setup... Actually, get this real quick. Sorry about that. The other setup is, of course, a ghillie suit. Now, a ghillie suit... Let me go get that ghillie suit, actually. Be right back. Well, apparently I cannot find the ghillie suit. So, well, that's sad. Let's just go ahead and get outside so I can actually show you what is going to happen out there, alright? Alright. And, of course, I'll have my full complete kit, what have you, out there. So, yeah, let's get going, shall we?
Now, when it comes to semi-urban environments, it's definitely hard to say. Like me right here. I'm currently, my bad. What I was actually trying to say is this. When it comes to semi-urban environments / woodland environments, when the woods actually connect with the, actual urban environments, you got to be careful of how you orientate yourself, how you visually see things, and using the buildings to your advantage, as well as advancing towards buildings, things like that. Especially if you're at a building where there is nothing behind you or beside you to give you cover. And moving from building to building is also another something along that lines of definitely uncertainty if you're going to do it alone. Now, if you want a good visual learning curve, or at least a good video series to follow, I'd recommend checking out Jet Desert Fox's Operation Irene videos, which I will link that playlist, or at least his Milsim playlist, in the description, of course. Now, my experiences with urban environments is this. When playing in some semi-urban environments with woodland mixed into it, it's definitely a learning curve because you're not just worrying about the woods off behind you, you also got to worry about the urban environment as well. Is the building a two-story building? Is there a sniper up in the tree? Are they hiding in the bushes? This and that. When it comes to semi-urban tactics, you have to adapt pretty quickly. But, of course, growing up in the South, where there was nothing but woods and some urban, it definitely is a learning curve down here as well, still, depending on if you know the area well enough. And playing in Op 31, where there's a lot of urban structures, I can safely say for a fact, yeah, it is definitely still a learning. It's still somewhat jarring when someone gives you a nice little surprise. So, enough of my gabbing. Let's go ahead and get to the woodland and guerrilla warfare tactics section of this video. Okay? Okay.
Remember I said, know your environments, know what camouflage you do need for when you're actually going out there? Well, this is exactly what I'm talking about. Right behind me is nothing but tall grass, woodland, and a mixture of tans, greens, and otherwise. Now, what I'm wearing right here is actually perfect for that environment, because even though, technically speaking, green with tan does not mix, in reality, with as tall as this grass is here, it doesn't matter. Because the biggest issue a lot of people find is that when they're in this kind of environment, they don't see exactly what's literally 2 feet in front of them. So I could be wearing green, laying down, flat, prone in the high grass, never see me. So I'm going to do this, and this is sort of a Where's Waldo situation. And we're going to go piece by piece in a certain environment. Now this is an environment I'm going to test your eyes on. I want you to sound off in the comments section when I do this. Like I said, this is a Where's Waldo situation. So I'm going to go out there, and I'm going to slowly approach the camera. And right there would be where you will be able to visually see me. So I'm going to go ahead and cut to me approaching the camera, and I am going to basically see how good your eyes are. And I already know Lawrence is already going to be watching closely the grass. So watch and see what it does, because I'll try and do some deliberate movements to try and give away where my position is. Also, do remember, I am rocking around with not just green, but black and brown. So do keep an eye out for the shine as well. Alright, you ready? Let's do this. Boo! Now, if you hadn't seen, and this is something that happens a lot when it comes to tall grass, orientation is one you want to do, or at least knowing your surroundings. Because the most literal sense, I started all the way down there, came up to about there, where the great tree is, walked all the way around to the side here, camp right next to you. Now, if my camera had 360 capability, you would be able to see me in no time, but sadly that is not the case. So, let's move from tall grass towards, more down towards the trees, where the green definitely will be more orientated towards that kind of camouflage. Alright? Alright. Now, when entering into the woods, you're going to want to make sure to see where a good thicket of it is. That way you can actually stay prone and definitely use your camouflage to your advantage. Now, the tall grass is there. When transitioning from tall grass to woodland, you want to make sure you find yourself a nice patch of, well, something of shade, because shade definitely plays a big part of it. When the sun's beating down, everyone can be seen. But when it comes to the actual shade itself, you want to find a nice patch of shade, or at least something for two reasons. One, to keep you cool, obviously, in the hot day, and two, to definitely give you a nice bit of camouflage, because when it's dark and the sun isn't shining down on you, it gives you a little bit more of an advantage. Now, there's a lot of good green and what have you here, so I'm going to transition from the grass to the woods, and I want you to try and spot me to the best of your abilities, as well as some try and, well, see what I do. So here we go. Now, much as, and believe me, as much as sloppy as that was, sad to say, when you're transitioning from tall grass to woodland, it's not exactly that easy. Now, when you actually get into woodland itself, this is where things get interesting, because when you go into straight woods, especially as wood as thick as this is, you're going to want to adopt what basically is known as hit and run tactics. Hit and run tactics basically being take a couple pot shots, get back, and then try and ambush them again. Now, this kind of tactics are definitely good for what it needs to be. Now, when you're doing hit and run tactics, you're going to want to find a nice, good spot for it, which thankfully enough, there is a lot of good spots out this way. So let's go to the one spot that I've used a lot of in these woods, which is literally right down that way. So let's go. Alright, what you just saw back there, that's ambush territory right back there. So thick you can't see in front of you. Perfect for setting up ambushes. But right in front, That's where the magic happens. Right here in front of me, nothing but tall grass. They can't see me, I can't see them. Well, I can see them because they're moving this way. But the one thing about ambush country is you gotta know when to do it right. So, say there's a guy right there, I can see the head, he can't see me because of all the brush and what have you. All I gotta do is flip the gun to full auto right here and just basically get a nice little spray right here, nice little spray and pray. Immediately grab this, grab you guys, get up, start moving back. Let's go. Right here's perfect as well. The reason I say that, because I got this all in front of me. Technically they can't see me that good through that brush because all they can see is trees. So all I can do is set up the gun right here, brace it on the branch, light up my sights, just pull the trigger. Basically light them up right there in a nice burst. Then immediately crawl back a little bit. Make sure I know where I'm going. Need to get up. Start hauling ass this way. Start hauling ass. Whoop, nice little ditch right here. Nice little ditch right here. Set up ambush. Set up another ambush. Make sure there's nobody down this way. There's a pond right behind me. We're going to get to that in a second about setting up ambushes near a pond. And then you want to be ready. Because then, when you see them move around that way, they technically can't see you. So what you can do, set up your gun, follow them, line them up again. Then immediately, get back up. Run behind this big dirt right here. Let the bullets take it then. Immediately start crawling this way. Now, what I'm doing is I'm literally using my legs like this. I'm just using my ass to crawl. And if you see something like that, immediately push your gun that way. Then immediately haul ass over. The good thing about things like this is that there's a lot of stuff right in front of me. Literally right in front of me. All this right here. I can see clearly. They can't see me. And what I can do is this. I can actually clear myself a nice little spot out from a gun. Stick it right up in that hole. Then just wait for them. Wait for them to get in my sight. Line them up again. But instead of moving, this time, if I have teammates over to my side here, on the dirt mounds right here, they can line them up as well. And they can't see us. All they can see is where the BBs are. They can't see where the BBs are coming from because of all the trees, all the visual impairments, all that. They can't see any of that, which is an advantage you want if you're going with an automatic. Now, we're next to a pond. I know a lot of you are wondering, well, wait a minute, when am I ever going to be near a pond? A lot, my friend, a lot. So, let's hop over to the pond, and we'll talk about ambushing people around a pond or using it to your advantage. Nice little tidbit, folks. Don't be brave. Don't try to go through prickle bushes. But when you see something like this, take it. Now, there's a nice little bit of space up under this tree right here. A little bit of visibility to them. Might be able to see you, but you'll be able to get them before they get you. I don't know if you can see me or not, but the way I have them set up is this. You cannot fully see me from the front. You can barely see me from the back. There's definitely something out of it that you cannot see. But from the front, you can't see much, not even the barrel. Not only that, but I am directly aimed at the bank over there at the other side. So if I wanted to, I can immediately open fire in a full auto spray, basically laying rounds down range, letting them hide, and immediately get my gun, slide up, and of course, get the fuck out. Or at least move over to another position, which is something you're going to want to do when you're fighting your pond with little bits of trees. Now, trees ahead of us have a lot of good cover, so what you want to do then is immediately crouch down a bit, getting some nice thick cover. So, the trees help break up how you look. Not only that, but they can barely see you moving. Now here's a nice position right here. Now of course you got to move quickly, help your buddies keep them pinned down. That way you can move into position right here. Now you don't want to stay crouched for too long, because right here, they come around that corner right there, raise up your gun, and immediately open fire, of course, but then get up, start falling back. Now, of course, like I said before, at the beginning, at most of the times, you know your surroundings. There's a big tree right here. I can immediately move this way. Then get inside the tree and hide among the thicker bushes and the shadow. Why? Because technically speaking, you can't see much behind this. I mean, it's really how it is. Now, of course, with that said, what you want to do then is, if I can get you guys situated really good, there you go, is you want to wait then for them to come around the corner here, because then with the branches the way they are, you can have your gun set up real nice and comfortable like to then, well, then open fire another burst on them and get a lot of hits. Now, does this mean you're going to be able to keep from getting hit yourself? I don't think so. That's just how it is. Now, from there, you can do one of two options. You can either move to the left here where there's some tall grass, or you can move to the right here where there's tall grass and a tree and a place to set up an ambush point. Now, we're going to go to the right because there's a lot to the right that can be done, actually. So, let's move to the right. There's not a lot of tall grass around here, but, and again, the quicker you go into it, the more tall grass there is. Now, the thing about this is, here's the tree. A lot of shade, a lot of branches to hide behind, a lot of ambush points. The majority of fighting in the woods is literally guerrilla warfare. The tall grass and what have you here is nothing but perfect places for people to hide and set up ambush points all around here. And that's the majority of woodland fighting, is either you set up a good ambush point and have a good position for the land, or you get ambushed yourself. That is the key point of woodland fighting, and why it was so hard during World War II when the Allies were fighting in hedgerow country. Because of this. Literally, this makes it hard for tankers to do their job, because the thick brush, even thick bushes, keep them from being able to cross certain points for certain roads, ditches, things like that. Hell, even the pond path over here, and I'm going to show you that right here, is nothing but one big ambush point after ambush point. Let's just get up in here, shall we? Let's get over here. And yes, you're hearing a lot of prickle bushes that I'm stepping on. I'm stepping on to keep them from killing me. See? Nothing but ambush points. Hell, there's a hole right here that someone could hide up in and ambush people, which we're gonna go up here anyway, so I can actually show you this place here. All this right here, someone could hide here. All this right here is open, even over here. Which even then, if you try to fight here, try and set up your LMGs here and here, you're still going to get hit, because there's not a lot of cover to go behind. I mean, yeah, this tree here, that tree there, maybe some portion of it, but then again, a small team could come around and get you, which even then, it comes down to whether or not you're smart enough to know where to set up your position, where to set up your ambush points, where to set up for an engagement. When it comes to the woods, and it comes to this is my territory. This is how I know. Now, of course, there's more to it than that, I know. Hell, trees right here you could set up an ambush for, set up here, so much. And that, my friends, is the name of the game when it comes to the woods. You see, when you're playing in the woods, especially this thick of woods, you gotta know your territory. If you can, let the field owner let you walk around it for a bit to get your bearings, or at least test some areas to get your bearings. Have a good gun that can punch through the tall grass, the tall leaves, everything. And the biggest one mind you, be ready for anything, because you might never know. Someone could be hiding up in here and they could get you and you never know it. So yeah. Now, urban environments are a totally different story altogether. And that, ladies and gentlemen, I'm afraid, is another subject altogether that I cannot personally give you points on. But, who knows? Maybe we'll find someone who can. Until then, guys, I've been AirsoftAL, and I'll see all you lovely people in the next video. And vote, and tell me, what do you want to see next? You want me to talk about pistol tactics? Or do you want me to talk about something else? Viewer's choice, of course, within reasonable requests, of course. And as always, guys, I've been AirsoftAL, and I'll see all you lovely people in the next video. Until next time.